I could feel the burnout coming. I was trying to ignore it and just keep going, just keep moving, thinking maybe it would just go away. For months, that mentality worked. Anxiety, depression, grief. It had become almost second nature to ignore everything, pushing it deeper inside. But the more it piled up, the more I knew it had to be processed, purged. So as the fatigue set in, I decided it was time to sit back and recharge. It was time for some self-care. For some people, the act of self-care is quite easy to accomplish. They just have a natural ability to unwind, let go, and break free from the tethers of work and responsibility. But for someone whose life has always melded personally and professionally, it's always been harder for me to truly unplug. You see, writing makes me feel whole, so in a lot of ways, it feels like I'm unplugging from my true self. But even if you think your passion is all you have, there are times when you have to realize that even passion can't make everything better. Sometimes you really must give in and listen to your body and find other things to fulfill your soul. And that's exactly what I did. I started by going back to my morning yoga. For weeks I'd been enjoying the opportunity to go for walks outside. Winter robbed me of such joys. However, there's something about yoga that centers me in a way walking can't. As I stretched and folded myself into oblivion, I felt alive and refreshed, as if reawakening from a long, deep sleep. It was fantastic. Afterwards, I decided to make a cup of tea. Although you really can never go wrong with any flavor, I love how certain teas make you feel certain ways. So I went for chamomile to go along with my desire to mellow out. Allowing it to steep, I grabbed my notebook and headed to the couch. It's funny, but from about 11 to 17 years old, I'd kept a steady journal, taking it everywhere, constantly scribbling whenever a thought or emotion crossed my mind. But it's only recently that I've gone back to all that. A lot of it has to do with Brett. Ever since his death, I've been kind of frozen in a sleepwalk. I haven't been able to truly express my feelings, nor have I felt comfortable to. But after fighting it for a while, I thought it might be good to just write everything down, just let it all out. It's so much easier to keep things in and pretend all is well, especially these days when everyone is selling a version of themselves that may not even exist. But that is the kind of delusion that drives one crazy, and I couldn't allow myself to get stuck in that trap. I admit, journaling hasn't changed everything. However, it does allow me to feel heard, which is all any of us want. Time to check on my tea, and maybe do a little sketching. It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside. I love a good sketch. Just sitting down and doodling without any real motive or goal. Not even trying to make it perfect or anything. Just letting your hand guide you to whatever your imagination sees. Drawing was actually my first love. I would sit in my room copying photos and paintings for hours. And even though I still draw for my books, I mostly do it for fun these days. And it feels better that way. Being a notoriously horrible sleeper, a nap in the middle of the day is always appealing. So as the waves of slumber crashed over my body, I gave in. After closing the curtains, I reached for my covers and closed my eyes and let my bones ease. So nice. The first thing I saw when I woke up were explosions. But when I saw it was a Godzilla movie, I perked up and dug in. I love a good mindless film to take me elsewhere. This one was Invasion of Astro Monster. You gotta love the absurdity and madness, the ridiculousness. We all need that sliver of silly to remind us that life is not to be taken too seriously. I don't know why, But as I sat there watching that movie, I suddenly got a craving for something sweet. And there was only one thing that would suffice: Rice Krispie treats. I've always loved Rice Krispie treats, but it was only when I made them myself when I realized that they were far better from the stove than the store. The best thing is how simple the creation process is. The experience is actually low-key relaxing. There's something about watching the marshmallows melt and then mashing the Rice Krispies. It's a weird, strange, soothing rhythm. But what's even better is when they're all done. Sometimes I don't even cut them in squares. I just pick from the large mass greedily. Yum. But when I thought of what could really, finally get me in a complete and utter realm of serenity, I looked no farther than the bathtub. There is nothing like taking a nice, warm bubble bath, even in the twilight of spring. Just lighting an incense stick, settling into the water, and allowing yourself to simply be. Sometimes it's great to bring along a good book, but other times I just like to rest there, allowing the smells and the silence to converge, causing me to drift away, dream, imagine. And isn't that the point of self-care? Allowing yourself to drift away, to reconnect, to clear your mind, to reclaim old parts of yourself and to discover new ones? We move so fast, so much, that we rarely stop to think of who we really are and what we really want. But you have to. You have to give yourself the time, give yourself the space, give yourself the grace. You have to take a moment and breathe, even if it's just for a day. Take care of yourselves.